Well, we are hearing in the past couple of hours from Lebanese media sources that there was an airstrike on a car in southern Lebanon, and in that car was a man called Wasim Tawil. Now, he is a senior commander of an elite special forces group that operates in southern Lebanon with the sole goal, really, of trying to maintain security on the border, but also to infiltrate Israel. Now, this detail is, we're still trying to find out more, but what we would know is that if this airstrike is verified that Wasim Tawil was killed, well, it would represent the most senior Hezbollah official to be killed in an Israeli airstrike since the October 7th conflict began. Now, of course, we have seen airstrikes already, most notably last week when that strike killed the deputy leader of Hamas, Salah Aruri. What makes this different, though, is that this is a senior commander from Hezbollah, based in Lebanon. Now, Hezbollah is aligned to Hamas, but it said it would respond to that attack in Beirut on its, I guess, its ally, you could say. But the fact today that one of its own senior commanders has now been targeted, well, that could really potentially represent a significant escalation. We already know the IDF is at its highest state of readiness on the northern border of Israel. It's been in that position since last week, that strike on Beirut. One would imagine, based on the news we're hearing today, that they are watching and waiting even more closely than normal to see whether Hezbollah will now respond to this strike.
And US Secretary of State Antony Blinken expected in Israel later. What, if anything, can we expect from this visit?
Yeah, well, we've just learned in the past couple of minutes he's touched down in Saudi Arabia, which is his next stop on this major diplomatic offensive by Washington to try and dial down the tensions here and bring down the temperature. We know that Secretary Blinken has been speaking to leaders across the region, and many of them have reiterated a message that they would like Washington to apply pressure to Israel to announce a ceasefire. I certainly don't think, based on the rhetoric we're hearing from Israeli officials, that is an announcement that will come anytime soon. But we do know the Americans have certainly been pushing for answers, both publicly and privately, from Israel on when they're going to sort of switch gears in their warfare tactic away from the kind of high-intensity operation that we've been seeing to something that's a bit more targeted. One would imagine that will be high on the agenda when Secretary Blinken arrives here, but also this question of the future of what happens in Gaza after this conflict comes to an end. The Israelis announced a plan in recent days in which they say they would like to maintain security there, but they are certainly open and supportive of Palestinian factions taking over the civilian affairs within the Strip. But for them, they say a red line in that idea is Hamas having any sort of role in the future within the governance of Gaza.
Trent, thank you for that. Our correspondent Trent Murray in Tel Aviv.